guys, and welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video. Right, okay, first look video. Let me get this very, very clear before we start. This is me taking a look for the first time. I've avoided streams, I've avoided everything, so I'm looking at it from a new user's point of view. Not really, I'm looking at it from my point of view, but this particular route. We're looking at the LGV Medline, which, to be honest with you, I am buzzing for. One of my favourite routes in TS Classic, one of my favourite bits of traction in the whole wide world. That doesn't mean I know masses about it, but I like it a lot. But I'm really looking forward to giving this an absolute whirl. Remember, first thoughts, so you're just going to hear me reel off things that might not be, I haven't reviewed it or anything.
Train Sim World 2, the immersive
oh, hi,
and highly
Matt.
detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world.
Nice to have Mr. P's voice in the background. So yeah, first in the videos again, I'm going to just reiterate this. Okay, so you might hear me say something that you know is wrong, and then I might work it out 2 seconds later, or I might work it out the next video I do. Feel free to let me know in the comments, but I might go, that train does this, but it doesn't do that, and then in a minute later it does the right thing. That sort of thing. Right, anyway, blurb out the way. Let's get going!
You've just been awarded some action points. These are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience.
We all know my views on action points and things like that.
It is necessary to be fully observant of the surrounding world.
Like in the station, though. I'll actually have to look exactly where it tells me to. No. Station looks lovely. Really, really nice. Let me move that mic, actually. It might make things a little bit easier for you guys.
This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one.
Ooh. Love having Matt P's voice on this. Makes me die. I'm not going to go on about the things that I'm not a big fan of the collectibles and things like that. I'm in it here for the simulation. It's looking really nice. Baby, hello. Oh, come on. They've done a lovely job with that. Oh, so it wants me to go in the coach anyway, so let's do that then. Loving the atmosphere on the platforms with those announcements, they're nice. My favourite seat in a TGV, to be fair, is next to power cars. Oh, it really captures the feel of it. Foldy tables.
You can pause the experience at any point and review previous and current objectives.
Yeah,
Check
that's
it
cool.
out now and then...
I was actually going to make me go through that. No. The duplex, the Series 200s. I mean, these were the most modern looking things ever when they came out. And I don't... The Series 200s and the POS units and everything like that, there's some of them, I do love them, but I do prefer the older shaped TGVs like the Atlantique, the Réseau, the PSE sets especially. But that's hot. I don't know if it's going to let me do it, but opening that would have been nice to do the front coupling hatch. I don't know if that's going to be in there. Let's wait and see. I would have liked to be able to walk down there, considering it is like open on these.
A lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the driver's seat.
Let's just take a minute, just to. Well done, DTG. Do I not need to do my back wall first,
A heads-up
though?
display has appeared on the right-hand side of the screen. This is a guide to what the train is doing. This is the speed display. The current speed will be represented by a moving bar. The red marker indicates the current maximum permitted speed. This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions.
I know we all know this, but I'm going through it just because it's part of it.
This is the power display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in. These are the brake indicators. They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them.
I know it's doing it on there, but I'm looking at it in the cab as well.
In the top right are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication of what is approaching and a countdown distance to when they will come into effect. Some of these displays can be hidden via the settings menu for a more challenging experience.
I do need to look at that and work out what I have. I just don't play it enough to faff around with the overlay too much on this. But with the... if this route is all it's cracked up to be, I'm already
This
seeing
train
a
is
little
ready
bit
to
of
go.
weird
Push
rendering.
the indicated handle all the way forward to get...
I've got no setup in this. Okay, we'll do one when we can do some proper setups.
Marseille Saint-Charles station is a major terminal station in the second largest city in France, connecting high-speed rail, including international services with local regional trains.
No, I'm not allowed to drive anymore. First complaint, again, it's always going to be sounds with this. The actual in-cab sounds from what I'm hearing so far do not sound bad. The horn, it's probably not a bad tone. It doesn't sound quite right, but that looping again is pretty irritating.
Train Sim World 2 allows you to ride and drive from an in...
It's very clean, but again, that could be like their license with SNCF says that you're not allowed to have it dirty.
You've only explored a small area here, so let's take a look at what else there is to enjoy.
Au revoir.
Voici à la gare de Marseille-Saint-Charles.
Nice little bit there as well.
Welcome to the beautiful south of France. Climb aboard the modern high-speed express TGV duplex train. Travel at speeds of up to 320 kilometers per hour using the TVM 430 onboard signaling system to move swiftly and safely. Drive from Marseille via Aix-en-Provence to Avignon. Along the way, don't forget to place route maps, hang TGV posters, restock first aid points,
That's a new one.
apply no trespassing signs, and repair broken cabinets. This is the LGV Méditerranée high-speed line.
Yeah, so far so good. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty buzzing for this. Pretty buzzing for this. Let's do whatever the next one is. Let's get it started. On to start. I'm not gonna. Should I go into KVB and everything? I don't know if I'm good enough to do it just in a video yet. I'd have to get. Let me get a bit of practice to that before we do anything like that. Oh, hello, Dynamic TSW2 Sky.
Welcome to driver training here at Marseille. Today you'll be learning to drive this SNCF Series 200 TGV duplex in camion livery.
Camion.
This brief introduction will cover critical driving controls and passenger operations, so climb aboard to get started. Take a seat in the driver's position, because this is where you'll be spending most of your time.
Love the cab.
To begin, you will need to press the service retention cancel.
Ta-da! Like to see that in there.
In normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a pantograph.
Have we got
However,
different
since the
pantograph
is
settings?
currently in the down position, you have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery.
Ta-da-da-da-da-da. Is it not a press and hold for that one? So what else have we got in there that's... Press and hold for 5 seconds. Yeah, brilliant. Good.
To activate the control desk, set the master switch to active.
To active. Sorry, I'm going to stop doing the stupid French accent now.
Now activate the pantograph using the normal and DC positions on the different rotary switches
So
so
gonna be-
that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
Classic, ain't we? So it'll be classic and then normal.
The DC setting should be used in the area of Marseille. The LGV setting should be used outside of Marseille. And the AC setting is used in other AC overhead line areas.
Disjunctor!
The
Sorry.
circuit breaker will need to be set to allow power to reach the entire train. Now that the circuit breaker has been set, it will need
Arm
to
it.
be armed. Use the indicator control to rearm it.
Not
Lighting
perfect,
is
but it is
automatically
good
set when
enough.
enabling the master switch, but make sure you use the low beam lights when passing other trains
here,
so as
aren't
not
they?
to blind oncoming drivers.
Yeah, that should be low
Take
beam
a
and high
quick
beam.
glance of the platform to ensure all is safe before unlocking the doors.
Then there should be a door release on the right hand side. Yes. Oh, well done. Loving the startup so far. Corridor lights. There's corridor lights behind
Next,
us.
you need to do the brake test.
We'll have
This
some
ensures that
aircon.
all the brakes are working correctly before you set off.
Brake test.
First,
Thief
press
brake.
the brake hold button to hold the lead power car. And now press the emergency brake button.
Nice.
Use the brake neutral switch to disable the brake lever, which now that you've tested the emergency brake, you'll test normal brake
brakes.
operation. Then hold the train brake in the release position. Hold the train brake control in apply until the brake pipe reads around.
Sorry, I'm skipping ahead of
And
this
that's
because
the
this
brake
is
system
something
fully
that
tested.
this is just awesome.
The reverser is used to set the direction of travel. There are 3 driving modes on the TGV.
Oh, they've put speed setting as well.
Coupling and uncoupling. The speed is limited in this mode and is intended
Just
for
shunt
coupling
manoeuvres.
maneuvers. Manual control. This is usual mode for driving on classic lines.
Speed set's this one up here, isn't it?
And selected speed. This uses the speed selector control and is used by the driver on high-speed lines to set the maximum cruise speed. To get started now, select the manual control mode as you are on the classic lines.
None of the
It's time to get going. Set the doors to locked.
can't remember the name of this. Sidak, is it? Be nice to have a bit of that in, but to be fair, I'm not moaning
For
at the
this
way this is doing at the
introduction,
moment.
you'll be driving as far as Aix-en-Provence. Finally, press the brake hold button and you should see the yellow light go out, and hold the train brake in the release position to release the...
I'd already released it. What a start-up. And that's without having KVB on or anything like that. I'm guessing TVM will come on automatically. And you've got Crocodile as well, so VACMA. I wonder if there's a safety system tutorial. KVB is a bit of an enigma to me. I have got the manual here to have a read through of it. So a few people have already messaged me, even though I try not to get them to, is regarding the overhead line
Keeping to
usage.
the speed limit is important. If you begin to overspeed, hold the brake lever into the applied position to slow down.
Ground textures look a little bit repetitive, I won't lie, they're a bit weird there. It's like striping. They've not used the correct overhead line because it would have taken them too long to do or something. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs about it. We all know TSW's limitations. The lighting seems to look slightly different. Or is that just my eyes? To be fair, I haven't driven it much since TSW2. In fact, I haven't driven it since the video I did of TSW2. So we've got the green with a white light. The white light below it. There's a crocodile. Maybe that's just not implemented. I've read the manual said, I'm sure the manual said it had all the safety systems. Oh, I tell you what I'm buzzing for that I really hope they've done well as well. I bet they have because the pantograph selector there is the changeovers. Slow speed loop, the rumble is a bit repetitive. But anyway, I faffed about here earlier and found that you can turn the climate control on. We can put it on high. I quite like that. A little button to play with, bit of immersion. Wipers. No separate sounds on them, but I'm not complaining. They do my nutting. You can manually pull it over. Like that. Oh, it'll be good driving that at night with that sort of feature as well. Right, we should have, yeah, 100 km/h now. Track change in sleeper textures looks a little bit odd. Wine's nice. Right, route-wise, so far, scenery seems pretty good, bar the overhead line issue. Track rendering is still slightly wonky, but we know that's a TSW thing. Ground textures, it looks like they're on sort of like a 45-degree angle across the track. Seems like the ballast texture is really quite repetitive. We had an issue like that on Cambridge to Peterborough if you didn't have dynamic lighting on. I know that's not the reason why it's doing it on this, but it was the same sort of repetition of it. So hopefully that's something they can sort out. Although I'm going to say this right now, it doesn't feel like France at all. I have not seen one bit of graffiti.
You're approaching the voltage changeover area and need to change the voltage on the train in order to continue. You'll do this without stopping the train.
Power in 0.
Open and then close the circuit breaker. Lower the pantograph by moving the switch to the lower position. Change the
LGV.
pantograph mode switch to LGV.
Dink. And then N. No, L. Does it go to L? When I'm safe to put it back up, I should have a little sign. Should be a bit here that does it as well, I think. Go. So I think that is like actually the power changeover board. That should be us lowering for now. Should have cab signalling coming on now as well. There we go.
When your cab passes the REV board, this means that the rear of your train has passed the voltage changeover area and you can raise the pantograph. Do this now by switching the selector switch to the N position. When the arm breaker symbol illuminates, rearm the circuit breaker. This means you can now increase power up to the indicated speed on the TVM display.
Well done. Credit where credit's due.
Nicely done. You're in good shape to continue the journey.
Did I actually do anything? Okay. $270. Don't need to worry about that because we're not even at 160 yet. But we do need to keep an eye on that because that means we're not getting up to... Well, we're stopping at Aix-en-Provence, so we're not that far off from there, really, are we? So it'll probably start slowing us down from that speed anyway by then. Tunnel textures are a bit meh. Next board, the next repair is probably going to be 180 or at least 200, so. It's 230, 200, 180 or 170, I think. $200.
You're now approaching Aix-en-Provence, so apply a small amount of brake force to achieve a comfortable, safe stop.
Now the climb back out the tunnel. Yeah, right, okay. So there is sort of like a tiling texture. It's quite blatant along here. Yeah, it's a bit blatant to be fair. So 2 kilometres to do. You slow me down a bit early. Foliage isn't popping in and out too much or anything. Little bits and pieces here and there. The train itself's fantastic. And they've learned how to do the brakes since the original on TS Classic. Stations look stunning as well. Get your doors out for the lads. Bar those weird ground textures, and sounds aren't the worst we've had out of TSW2, I'll tell you that for nothing. They're not perfect by a long shot, but they're not awful, awful, awful. It's quite drivable so far. So from what I'm seeing so far, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy. I think we're only driving this far, weren't we?
Good work. That concludes all the basics
Ding a
of
ding.
operating this train.
Oh, I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that. That's really right, yeah. What can I say? Well done to DTG. Well done to DTG. That train feels like it handles nicely. The way the cab setup procedure is brilliant. Really, really nice. A couple of little niggles. My only niggles would be this disjunctor, I think, is held for a little bit longer than that. Sorry, the circuit breaker is held for a little bit longer than that. Love the way they've got things like the thief braking, which is like the brake hold, which holds up the power car brake. Same as they used to have to set up with the Eurostar. I think it's yeah, whatever the computer is, that it would have been nice having that, because that is actually how you do some of the brake continuity tests and everything as well, via that. Well, you did on the Eurostars anyway, which I'm guessing would probably be the same in the Series 200. So there's a few bits and pieces that would have been nice to see in that. I'm not going to lie. But apart from that, I'm not complaining. This is very, very nice. Do I recommend you go and get it for $22.99? So far, yes. Remember, this is my first look. And this has been more about the train, and we've had a quick look at the route. The route is quite short, considering you're going to be doing 300 kilometres an hour on it. But we'll take a closer look at the route in part 2 of this video. So this is only going to be the first video. This is my first look at the train and just the way it's sort of looking so far. Tomorrow will be the video of me doing a full run up the route for you guys to see. And I'm actually really looking forward. I'm actually streaming this tonight, so I'm going to have done that anyway. So by the time I do the video tomorrow, I should be good enough with things like KVB and VACMA and all of that jazz. Should be good enough, and I should be good enough to drive it with that. So I'm going to leave you there with a big thumbs up so far from me. Let me see if I find any glaring issues tomorrow. So far, so good. Once again, guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Heading over to AlanThompsonSim.com for your latest and greatest train sim needs. Heading over to Twitch on most days of the week at the moment for a sort of adult pub-style stream with talking about trains. And also to keep up to date with all the ongoings on with ATS and the videos and the streams, check out the Facebook page. Right then, guys, once again, thanks ever so much. Catch you next time.